Philippians chapter 3, we read in verse 18. It's a very interesting verse 18 and 19. Philippians 3, verse 18 and 19. See what it says. He says, there are many people who walk in a wrong way. And I'm weeping when I tell you this. Look at the burden that Paul had to say, as I say this, I'm weeping to think of how some Christians are living. What a burden Paul had that Christians should live a holy life. And he says, what is it? They are enemies of the cross of Christ. Let me ask you a question, my dear brother, sister. Are you an enemy of the cross of Christ? You'll all say, no, I'm not. I'm not an enemy of the cross of Christ. Just hold on. He describes the enemies of the cross of Christ in the next verse. Then you can check up whether you're an enemy of the cross of Christ or not. They are enemies of the cross of Christ whose end is destruction. And what is the mark of the enemy of the cross of Christ? Their God is their stomach. That's what it says here. Their God is their stomach. That's what it says in the margin of my Bible. Their God is their belly, their stomach. That means they worship food. It says here, those who worship food are enemies of the cross of Christ. I told you there are two great desires in our body. One is for food and the other is for sex. And you can worship either of them. And it says if you worship them, you're worshiping an idol. And then you can't say you're worshiping God. You're an enemy of the cross of Christ, because the cross of Christ puts these desires under control. Sexual desire is only for marriage. Full stop. Anything outside of marriage, sex is sin. And food, well, we are not to worship food. We are to use food to live a healthy life, and that's why the Bible speaks about being disciplined in our life.